Imagine a monkey swinging through the jungle. It knows one simple rule: never let go before the next branch is secure. One hand stays firmly on the old branch while the other reaches forward. Survival depends on knowing when to let go. Millions of workers do the opposite with their careers. They let go of their stable income before securing what comes next. They see successful entrepreneurs online, running businesses, and living freely, and suddenly believe they should do the same. They imagine walking away from the office, escaping their boss, controlling their schedule, and finally becoming their own boss. But there's a problem. Your paycheck can disappear overnight, while your rent, bills, and expenses keep coming. Quitting too early is like jumping between branches without knowing whether you can reach the next one. One branch is your stable job. The other is your business, full of opportunity, uncertainty, and risk. That's where one simple idea becomes important. Before quitting, understand the 2X rule. It doesn't guarantee success, but it can give you something every entrepreneur needs: a financial safety margin. Meet Mike, a 34-year-old American worker. Every morning, his alarm rings at 6:30, starting another long workday. Mike sits on the edge of his bed, exhausted, wondering why every morning feels exactly the same. He makes his coffee, gets dressed, and tries to convince himself that today might be better than yesterday. But before work even begins, Mike faces something familiar: hours of traffic on crowded American roads. At the office, he opens his laptop and starts working through emails, tasks, deadlines, and problems waiting for him. Then the meetings begin. Mike listens to discussions about targets, sales, projects, and problems inside the company. By evening, many coworkers have already left, but Mike is still at his desk trying to finish everything. When he finally gets home, Mike wants nothing more than to sit down. But his mind is still full of unfinished work. One night, Mike lies on the couch and starts scrolling through his phone, like millions of exhausted workers do. He sees an entrepreneur standing beside an expensive sports car, talking about how much money his business makes. Mike starts wondering, if he can do it, why can't I? Maybe I'm wasting my life at this job. The more he scrolls, the more he sees stories about financial freedom, entrepreneurship, and people escaping their 9-to-5 jobs. Suddenly, Mike faces two choices: keep his stable career, or take a risky path into business. He imagines leaving the office forever, controlling his schedule, making his own decisions, and never answering to a boss again. But when the fantasy disappears, Mike remembers something important. His bills aren't going anywhere. His rent still needs to be paid. His car payment still arrives. Groceries cost money. And health insurance still matters. Meanwhile, a new business might make nothing for months, no matter how hard Mike works. That's the difference between employment and entrepreneurship. One provides predictable income, the other depends on the market. So Mike faces a choice. Should he quit immediately or use his current job to build something better? Instead of jumping, Mike makes a smarter decision. He keeps his job and starts building a second income stream. Mike stops seeing his job as a prism. Instead, he sees his paycheck as funding his next opportunity. Every month, his salary pays the bills, while some money goes toward testing his new business idea. His paycheck covers rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, and the basic costs of keeping his life stable. During the day, Mike does his corporate job, but at night, he works on building something of his own. At 8 in the evening, while most people relax, Mike opens his laptop and starts working on his side business. Maybe he builds an online store. Maybe he sells a service. The business doesn't matter yet. Finding customers does. Some nights, Mike edits videos for clients, turning a skill he already has into an extra source of income. Other nights, he talks with potential customers, trying to discover problems they are actually willing to pay him to solve. Mike starts small. He spends very little because his goal is to test the idea, not gamble his future. His first experiment fails. After checking the results, he realizes almost nobody wants what he originally offered. Mike loses some money, but his paycheck still arrives. That means failure doesn't become a financial emergency. Instead of quitting, he changes the offer, improves the product, and tries again using what he learned. Mike talks directly with customers and listens carefully to their complaints, questions, and suggestions. Slowly, things change. A few customers become several, and his small side business starts generating real income. Now, Mike watches both branches carefully. His job is still strong, but his new business is getting stronger. This is where many people make a dangerous mistake. They compare their salary directly with their business income. A salary can arrive steadily every month, while business income can rise and fall dramatically from one month to another. And businesses have expenses: advertising, equipment, software, insurance, inventory, taxes, and many hidden costs. Mike tracks every expense because revenue alone doesn't tell him whether his business is truly profitable. One month is incredible, sales are strong, customers are everywhere, and Mike thinks he might finally be ready to quit. Then the next month arrives. Sales suddenly drop, reminding Mike that one great month proves almost nothing. He realizes that matching his salary isn't enough. His business needs a real financial safety margin. That's the basic idea behind the 2x rule. Don't seriously consider quitting until your business earns roughly twice your employment income. If your job pays $5,000 a month, your target is roughly $10,000 in reliable net business income. And you don't judge that target from one lucky month. You track the results consistently over time. Mike reviews 6 months of business performance, looking for consistency rather than one unusually profitable period. The numbers remain strong. His business isn't perfect, but the income has become much more predictable. Now Mike builds an emergency fund, creating another layer of protection before making his final decision. He compares his salary with his business income and finally sees a meaningful financial gap in his favor. Now he understands the purpose of 2x. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about creating room to survive. Now, meet Sarah. From the outside, she looks successful. A good salary, a nice apartment, and an expensive car. But Sarah checks her credit card balance and realizes her lifestyle depends on more debt than she wants to admit. At her kitchen table, she sees car payments, credit card bills, insurance, and other monthly expenses piling up. Meanwhile, another worker lives more modestly, but has something valuable: a large emergency savings fund. That person has enough money saved to cover roughly 6 months of essential living expenses. So who is actually more financially secure? The person with the expensive lifestyle or the person with the longer financial runway? Imagine losing your job tomorrow. The paycheck disappears, but every monthly bill keeps arriving. If you have savings, you can breathe. You have time to find work or build something new without panicking. That's what financial runway means: the number of months you can survive if your income suddenly falls to zero. The longer your runway, the more choices you have. And choices are one of the most valuable forms of financial freedom. Now let's follow Sarah. She's 32, works in banking, and earns around $60,000 a year. After taxes and deductions, Sarah brings home about $4,000 a month and carefully watches every expense. Rent, childcare, groceries, transportation, and insurance consume a large part of her monthly income. But after her child goes to sleep, Sarah opens her laptop and spends a few hours building her side business. She starts with a simple online business, using very little money to test demand before investing more. Her first sale finally arrives. It's small, but it proves something important. A real customer is willing to pay. The next few months are difficult. Some products fail, sales fluctuate, and Sarah considers giving up. Instead, she studies marketing, learns customer behavior, and discovers why some offers work while others don't. She also learns sales by speaking with potential customers, asking questions, and becoming comfortable with rejection. Sarah uses customer feedback to improve her product instead of assuming she already knows what people want. Over time, orders increase. What started as a tiny experiment is slowly becoming a real business. Sarah now has 2 income streams: her banking salary during the day and her growing business income at night. Eventually, the side business covers a meaningful part of her household expenses, reducing her dependence on her salary. Sarah reviews several months of financial data and sees something important: her business income is becoming consistent. Only after the business becomes strong enough does Sarah consider leaving banking. Her decision is based on numbers, not emotion. The first skill every entrepreneur needs is sales. If customers won't pay, even a great product can fail. The second skill is marketing, understanding attention, customer psychology, and reaching people who actually need your product. The third is cash flow management. You need to know exactly how much money enters your business and how much leaves. The fourth is investing. Once your business generates extra cash, part of it can be turned into long-term assets. And the fifth is leadership. If your business collapses whenever you stop working, you've created another job, not freedom. Year one is about building the foundation. Keep your job, protect your income, and test small business ideas at night. Don't risk $50,000 on an unproven idea. Start small, find customers, and learn what actually works. Year two is about scaling. Once you find something that works, improve the system and create repeatable processes. At the same time, build your emergency fund and reinvest profits instead of immediately upgrading your lifestyle. By year three, you should have real data: revenue, expenses, profit, savings, customers, and income stability. If your business consistently produces about twice your employment income, quitting becomes a much more rational decision. Mike now stands between his old career and new business. This time, he's not jumping blindly. He's making a calculated move. Mike doesn't hate his old job anymore. He realizes it helped finance the journey that eventually gave him more choices. He walks toward the future with confidence, knowing his business is strong enough to support the next chapter of his life. Remember this: don't quit at 1 times your salary. Build toward 2 times. Create your safety margin, and then make your move.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos. Your support really helps us create more content about money, business, and financial freedom. See you in the next video.